Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, St. Joseph Engineering College, I welcome you all for the fourth webinar of ECE webinar series. Today's webinar on nutrition during COVID times is from our esteemed resource person, Ms. Sanjana M. Shenoy, consultant dietitian, lecturer, and head of the Department of Food, Nutrition, and Food Technology, Sridevi College of Hotel Management, Mangaluru. May I now request our HOD, Dr. Dakshni, to kindly welcome everyone.
Good afternoon, all. I am very happy to welcome you all for the fourth webinar of ECE department on nutrition during COVID times. As we all know, COVID-19 is causing many changes in the lifestyle of people due to less physical activities and mental stress. The proper diet planning is very important to maintain good health and improve our immune system. We should know what kind of food and nutrients to be taken during this COVID times. Today, we have with us most prominent speaker, Ms. Sanjana M. Shenoy, consultant dietitian, lecturer and head of the Department of Food, Nutrition and Food Technology, Sridevi College of Hotel Management, to guide us in this direction. On behalf of management and staff of St. Joseph Engineering College, Mangalore, I welcome you, madam, to this webinar. I would like to welcome Dr. Jagadish R. Bhatt, Associate Professor, EC Department. Welcome, sir. A cordial welcome to Ms. Nandini Maninarayana, Assistant Professor, EC Department. Welcome, madam. I am very much thankful to you for taking interest in arranging the very desired webinar in this difficult time and identifying a good speaker. Also, I would like to welcome and thank Ms. Rashmi H., Assistant Professor, for moderating this webinar. A warm welcome to all participants, and I'm sure this webinar will refresh our minds and guide us to improve our immune system. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We welcome you too. May I now request Dr. Jagdish R. Bhatt, Associate Professor, Department of ECE, to introduce the resource person to our august audience.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am delighted to introduce today's speaker, Ms. Sanjana M. Shenoy. Mrs. Sanjana M. Shenoy was born and brought up in Mangalore city. Her initial schooling and college was at St. Anne's, St. Agnes, and St. Aloysius institutions. She has completed her PG diploma in dietetics from Manipal University and MSc in dietetics from Food Service Management from IGNOU. Sanjana is also pursuing her PhD at Mangalore University. She has worked in KMC Hospitals, Mangalore, and has been a visiting dietitian to various hospitals in Mangalore, such as Yenapoya, Athena, City, and Tejaswini hospitals, to name a few. She's a regular speaker at various events and for different organizations such as Infosys, Emphasis, Family Doctors Associations, Lions Club, Rotary Clubs, Amway, Mahila Sabha, Mom and Me of Mahindra Retail Organizations, MCF, MRPL, BPCL, HPCL, on topics such as diabetes, cholesterol management, weight loss, and on general health and wellness, and also has been a guest speaker at many educational institutions of SDM institutions, NITE, KMC, Yenapoya, M.V. Shetty Memorial, St. Joseph Engineering College, to name a few. She addresses parents and children in various schools and organizations to promote awareness on health and nutrition. She has had her own talk show on Deji World TV channel named as Diet Tips with Sanjana Shenoy, and has recorded over 50 shows and also regularly attends recordings and live shows on All India Radio and V4 local channels in various languages such as English, Kannada, and Konkani. She also renders her help to various sports associations of swimming and badminton in Mangalore. She has been a nutrition advisor for Mrs. Mangalore and Mrs. India Karnataka. She presently works at Sri Devi College as a lecturer and HOD of the Departments of Food and Nutrition and Food Technology, and runs her private clinic at Lalbagh Towers, Ballalbagh Junction, Mangalore. So with this, once again, I extend a warm welcome to you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Before we begin, I would like to share some guidelines regarding the webinar. Your audio and video are muted. In case you have any question, kindly put it in the chat box or Q&A box. We will address them at the end of the session. A feedback link will be shared. Kindly fill them. An e-certificate will be emailed to you at the earliest. May I now request the resource person, Ms. Sanjana M. Shenoy, to kindly take over. Over to you, ma'am.
Nice. Screen sharing has stopped. Can I get a confirmation from the organizers that they're able to see the screen?
No, madam, we can't see the screen. We can only see you. PPT you can't see. Yeah.
Sharing has stopped.
We can't see, madam, this one, PPT.
Yes, the sharing has stopped. Let me just.
Stop. Okay. You can again start, I think, madam. Stop it and start again.
All right.
Use share screen option.
Hello, Sanjana.
Yes, I'm unable to share my screen.
You can go to the share content option. Down, you can see the share content option. The third option.
This one, yes.
Share content.
It's not working.
And done it once.
All right. It's not working, sir.
Sir, why it is like that, sir?
Me? I think it's been disabled.
No, it is enabled. It's enabled.
Enabled. Okay.
Yes.
I have the slide. Should I?
Yeah, Rashmi, that will be the better. You can show the slide. Ma'am can explain that.
Yes, as long as I'm visible, that's fine, and I can open my PowerPoint.
Rashmi, ma'am, please share the people.
My screen is stuck. 1 minute. Just a minute. Can it be seen?
Yes.
Yes, Rashmi, we can see now.
All right. So I may start the session now.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. Thank you very much for the very warm welcome. And today I'll be addressing the topic on nutrition during COVID times. So we know what's happening around us. The scenario has been made very scary with the kind of infection that is moving around right now. So, well, I thank Nandini for, giving me the topic to speak on for today, because this is the topic right now which is worrying a lot of people on how do we take care of our health, how do we prevent this from affecting us, or how do we go through this period of the infection or the pandemic. So before I go to the whole gritty details, let's see what is nutrition and what is immunity. Of course, most of you know that nutrition is about eating healthy. There are a lot of things that we can choose to eat, choices of food, and whether it's exercise or so. But what most important right now is it's not just how much and how you eat, but how good is your immunity. Are you able to recover from an illness very easily? Or do you have the stamina to get out and work even if you're unwell? All that will determine how immune you are to diseases. Now, how do you know how good your immunity is? If you have frequent cold, fever, cough, and you keep falling sick repeatedly, that's when you can say you have a very poor immunity. But it does not mean that every time you get a fever and cold that you have a bad immunity. You can have a good immunity even with a certain period of illness. But if it is repeated and you keep falling sick repeatedly, then it means that your immune response in your body has been compromised. So when it comes to nutrition, we as dietitians always promote that what you eat is what is going to give you out. How are you going to improve your immunity, your health, your outlook? So let's look at various factors that can affect your immune levels and how your immunity can get compromised. See, when we look at various factors, if right now, most of us, we are starting our next phase of lockdown now, before which we have had a lockdown, most of us have changed our routine. We had a specific time to wake up, to sleep, to do our work. We had a routine. But most of us now have been, complaining, my clients especially, they keep saying that right now, my wake up and sleep timings have changed, my food habits have changed, my I feel bored at home, and there are a lot of things that are coming up right now. So even your mental status can also affect your immunity. Now when we look at various factors, let's just see now what has happened to people who are staying at home and how is their diet going around. So let's just have a look at the factors. So first main thing is the poor diet. So what do you mean by a poor diet? Are you eating a lot? Are you eating less? Or are you eating erratically, as in you don't have a time frame to eat? Or some of you don't eat at all and then go on eating. All this can compromise something called as a very poor diet. Or you may have excess of any kind of nutrients where you're eating excess sugar, excess salt, excess carbohydrates or fat, drinking very less water. All this can compromise a very your diets, especially in this time when you're at home, when you've missed out your whole routine. So while you're working, you know that you have to eat at this time, you have to pack this, or you have to cook this. But when you're in a lockdown, your options are limited. The kind of food you may stock, most of us end up stocking food which can last for a long time, and the only food that lasts for a long time is always junk food, which you can keep for a long time. So all that can affect your diet. Excuse me. So when we look at your diet, most of us have sugar cravings, especially excessive sugar cravings are common. So as I said, junk food is the food that lasts for a long time, and so you can see some of the junk food that I've mentioned, especially the foods that are high in sugar that I've mentioned here. So you can see soft drinks, you can see ice creams, you can see bread. Bread can be different varieties of bread, biscuits, which are, of course, I do recommend a few biscuits, but not on a regular basis. A lot of juices, cakes, and you can see a lot of colored fruits, these foods which are not good for us, and especially a lot of chocolates. All this add to your sugar, high sugar levels. So when you eat a lot of sugar, what can happen to you is your immune system starts getting slower. It starts giving a negative response to your body starts slowing down, or it goes in a super high and then it falls. So all this can compromise your immunity levels. So then you can look at excessive fat and salt. So eating a lot of these processed foods also can affect your diet during these times and your immunity. So a lot of processed foods. Right now, if you observe that people love food that is more colorful, more attractive, and of course very easy to make, and or just open up a packet and eat. So most of these foods contain a lot of artificial colors, preservatives, fats, sugar, and salt, which can all affect our health. And all these foods, if you observe, do not have a lot of vitamins and minerals, or they're very less in fiber. All this can affect us when we keep eating this over a period of time. So when we eat all this, our body does not get the right nutrition, and that can have adverse effects. So this is a very common culprit. So where most of us, are, exposed to eating a lot of restaurant food, and we find it easier to order and eat. This is the latest trend that has been going on for a couple of years right now, where it's more easier to call in food. Now, what are the harmful effects of calling in food? Just like how you would see how you go about stocking food. So when you call in for food, you end up eating excessive portions. So maybe what is meant for 3 people, one person ends up eating, and that can add on to your weight or affect your weight. And some of you all, okay, you feel that I've eaten a big meal, I don't need to eat anymore. So you end up missing a lot of essential nutrients for the whole day. Or of course, it's laziness. Why should I cook when the food comes in more easier? So all these foods which are you're getting from out, most of them would be again rich, in fat and salt, sugar, and a lot of preservatives which can compromise our health. So malnutrition. Now people always assume malnutrition as being very thin or underweight, but excessive weight as well as being underweight also is a type of malnutrition. So when you eat a lot, also your body is unable to process the excessive nutrients and they're converted to fat. While the same way, under eating also can make you meet, it does not help you to meet your nutrients. You have a deficiency of various nutrients, especially micronutrients such as vitamins and minerals, which will start affecting your health. Lack of exercise. Now, I, of course, should be talking only about food and food, but you should understand that along with the diet, physical activity also is quite important. Now, when we look at the infection that is spreading around, the main thing we require right now is a very good lung capacity. So exercise and lack of exercise also can affect our immunity levels. So most of us are thinking that why should we, go out? And of course, you shouldn't be going out. But then what is the limitation we can choose to go out and exercise? But many people would want to sit at home. The kind of lockdown that's happened to us right now has helped us to be lazy, catching up on all the movies, doing nothing. Our whole routine has changed. And most of us have, that's what my clients tell, that they do not feel like exercising. I do not want to exercise right now. Or they've been used to a kind of exercise routine where they've been dressing up and going to the gym or swimming or so, which they're missing. So if once the exercise levels come down, also your lung capacity comes down, your a lot of good hormones are released when you're exercising, and you end up not getting those good hormones and the good feeling and the antioxidant levels. So all that can be affected. Of course, stress. Now, we should be thinking that stress only happens in the offices, but no, now many of them working from home are also going through a lot of stressful phases. And stress itself can compromise your immunity, because you may be worried a lot, you're trying to adjust with the new changes that are happening. Excuse me. So stress itself can affect your outlook. Sleep deprivation. Okay, so when we look at sleep deprivation, all right. Sorry, the AC is a bit high, so that's giving me a bit of a throat. All right, so let's continue. So when it comes to sleep deprivation, so that's where many of us during this lockdown time, yes, okay, let's continue. So during the lockdown time, our sleep-wake habits have been a bit affected. And if you've observed that many of us sleep very late, we'll watch a lot of TV at night, and we use our mobile phones quite frequently. All this can affect us over a period of time. So what happens is, when you're watching a lot of the white light, it affects your sleep hormones. When you're supposed to be sleeping, you're awake. So your body gets confused. Your body loses its defense system. So that is why it's always important to see that you fix a time for your mobile watching or your work, especially during this lockdown time. And how is sleep associated with your immunity? When you do not sleep on time, your body undergoes stress. So just like how you're getting physical stress, you would end up having a little of not a little, I can say a little more of mental stress too. So all this can start affecting your immunity, where all your defense systems start slowing down and getting compromised. Okay, so sleep deprivation also can it can affect your immunity. So if you've observed, a person who has a more regular routine will be comparatively a little more healthier compared to those who have erratic timing. So if all of you, those who are students, or those who have passed off your exams, such as your board exams and all, would know that just after board exams, you're completely exhausted, you're tired, or some of them fall sick, they get exam fevers. So all this is nothing but stress related kind of thing. So all this can affect your immunity. Excessive medication. Why have I put medication right now is mainly because many people take a medicine or pop a pill for every kind of pain. They, for example, a headache or a stomach pain or a back pain, and or repeatedly, if they keep falling sick, they take a lot of these antibiotics, which affect their immunity. It affects the good bacteria in your stomach. So excessive medication also will make you prone to a lot of diseases. Lack of sunlight and air, of course. Why this can happen is, see, when you keep yourself, just like how now the AC affected me. So similarly, when you are missing away all this, the sunlight, the fresh light, the air, all this can affect the way you, the kind of allergens you're getting exposed to, or the kind of dust. We assume that keeping a very clean place, or keeping a completely clean air is the best way to go. But of course, you live in a city where you will be getting a lot of pollution and this, but then how would you know how to fight it? How would you get a defense system? See, an immunity is nothing but you develop a defense system to fight what is coming to you. So when you miss out the air as well as the sunlight, and you're cooped up in a room with that is with the dark light, or you have changed the lighting, it's too bright or it's too low, all this can affect your immunity. Your body again gets confused. We have a body clock. I'm sure you must have heard this word, something called as a body clock, which tells you that you need to wake up at this time and you need to sleep at one time. So again, when you are cooped up in a place, your breathing gets affected, your outlook gets affected. So sunlight and air, also circulation, is extremely important to support a very good immune system. Now, we have learned that a diet as well as so many factors can affect it. How do you boost your immunity? I'm sure you would be waiting for that. Okay. So few nutrients are very important. I put some very basic pictures for you to just see and choose. And so those are vegetarians, mixed vegetarians and all can choose these options. So first and foremost, see that you include good amount of protein in your diet. If you know the defense systems that come out during your immune response, that's the antigen, antibodies. I'm sure you must be listening to all the news right now, and all these words must be mentioned there. So those are all made up of proteins. So in eating protein itself is one way you can defend your body. You can help to sustain your body, make it stronger, and see that you have a very good defense system. So I have put some very basic photos here, such as sprouts, very healthy, lot of micronutrients are there, and it's very easy to make it at home. I always try to make people understand that there are a lot of small, basic things that are available in your kitchen, because that's the thing we need to look right now. We cannot order in for very expensive supplements or food. So anything which fits into our budget, which is able to be delivered home or able to pick it up is what we need to look at. So sprouting is a very good method to improve your immunity. Although sprouts have, even pulses are rich in protein, or dals for that matter are rich in protein. But when you sprout it, the protein content, the vitamin C content, and the antioxidant content increases. So if in case you're not a fan of sprouting, you can always steam and eat pulses also. So protein content, of course, you can see milk, eggs, meat, then nuts. All these are very good for building your muscle content in the body, as well as your defense system will depend on how well you eat protein. So how do you determine how much protein you require? I mean, that would be the question in your mind. If your ideal weight is about 60 kgs, you require about 1 gram of protein per day. So you would require 60 grams of protein per day. Okay, so so now let's make it very easy for you all. Break it down. See that you have one protein source in every of your meals. So that will be more than enough to meet your regular protein requirements. So next, very important is add color to your diet. So here, if you can see, I've just given you very three basic options. You see yellow, you see orange, and also red, and you can see green. So adding these colorful fruits and vegetables in your diet can definitely help you to improve your antioxidant levels. So immunity can be improved by something called as antioxidants. So antioxidants are again your defense system towards improving your immunity. So antioxidants are helping you to keep all the allergens away, the infections away, and also help you to improve your immunity. So you can see the vitamins that I mentioned, that is vitamin A and beta carotene. That is, you can see that they provide the yellow, orange, red, and the green color. So you can choose any of these and see that at least in your two major meals, or any of these foods are included daily to improve your diet, and see that and from which you can get a lot of antioxidants to build your defense system. So next, very important is vitamin C. Now, a lot of myths are, a lot of WhatsApp information comes that if you take this is going to help you, and so. But if you should understand that, now when you look at vitamin C cannot be preserved for a long time. It is a very sensitive vitamin which gets destroyed by little heat or any kind of climatic changes. So vitamin C should always be taken as much as possible in a more fresh form. So when you look at vitamin C, you can see the sources. So citrus fruits are a very good source. Then you have gooseberries or amla, which is a very good source. And you would be wondering what's the green thing in the center. It's nothing but your simple green chutney. That is your pudina, that's mint, your coriander leaves, then green chilies, ginger and garlic, which are all 5 very good immune boosters, are all put together into one small dish. So this can be incorporated in the diet every day. So you do not need to take any expensive supplements which say this will boost it, or buy any supplements which say which in vitamin C. Vitamin C is very difficult to be packed and sold. So if anybody is sending that this is vitamin C rich, will have not too much of the vitamin C unless a lot of preservatives are added. Preservatives can be added to improve the vitamin C content, but the best way to take vitamin C to boost your immunity is to take it in a fresh form. So you can see one more very simple, that juice that I've mentioned there is that's lemon juice with a little of mint in it, which again gives you a lot of antioxidant boost and also vitamin C. So vitamin C itself is an antioxidant. So if you can see that there are three main antioxidants, that's A, vitamin C, and vitamin E. So you need to ace your diet to fight and improve your immunity. So then add nuts and seeds in your diet. So nuts and seeds are quite rich in protein, vitamin E, zinc, folic acid, and omega-3. So these nutrients are the most important during this phase. So you can see that protein, that's especially nuts, are very rich in protein. Now, of course, nuts are expensive. So the best thing that can, not put a hole in your pocket is ground nuts, and they're quite healthy, and all these nutrients are available. Of course, you can offer, eating other nuts also. So seeds, you can see flax seeds are quite good. You can ground them, take about a tablespoon a day to improve your omega-3 intake, your vitamin E, as well as your zinc and protein intake. Then sesame seeds or til, which we call it, is also very good. So I'm sure this old laddu, which you can remember, that's your jaggery and til laddu, is quite healthy to be had. But please see that they do not, no glucose fillers and no other artificial sugars are added. It should be made with pure jaggery and til, and that's a very good antioxidant. And very easy one is pumpkin seeds. I'm sure these are some things which you would have seen around but never thought of adding in your diet. So these are few things you can add, such as groundnuts or even almonds, flax seeds, then til and pumpkin seeds, to improve your micronutrient intake. Then very important is anemia. This is something which I've observed in many young girls, and of course very common in women. So anemia can happen due to three major nutrients, that's iron, folic acid, and vitamin B12. So now this can affect your immunity, because when your RBCs or red blood cells do not work or do not get enough of, are unable to make enough of hemoglobin, so this can affect your immunity. So you get prone to infections very soon. So those who are anemic, it's quite observed that many of them keep falling sick repeatedly. So if you are anemic, you should get yourself treated either medically, or if you're highly anemic, that is your hemoglobin is below 10. But if your hemoglobin is somewhere in the borderline 11 or so, or 12, right now for girls, we tell them that your hemoglobin level should be between 13 to 15. And for men, it should be from at least from 14 to 16. So that's what they should maintain. So now when you look at anemia, we always think only iron, but please understand folic acid and vitamin B12 are also very important to be treated in this. So many a times people keep falling sick, or they feel tired, they're exhausted, they have a lot of changes in their body, such as their nails are brittle or their hair is brittle. And most of the time they feel tired. That is the first sign of anemia. So many a times the hemoglobin level will be totally fine. So we need to check further for folic acid levels as well as vitamin B12 levels. So you can see, of course, all green leafy vegetables are very good sources of iron, but a very simple source that I've put is drumstick leaves, which most of us have in our gardens. If not, you can always borrow. So drumstick leaves are extremely high in iron, folic acid, which will help you to improve your iron levels. Then also dry fruits such as the raisins and dates are also quite helpful. They're very good sources of iron. Then again, sprouts or chickpeas, again, very good source of folic acid. Then we have green peas, folic acid again. So anything which has the green color, as well as, your green leafy vegetables, etc., are very good source of iron and folic. But please understand, iron and folic acid, especially iron, does not get completely absorbed in our body if they're from vegetarian sources. So if you're a pure vegetarian, you need to put a little more effort to eat all these foods so that you improve your iron levels. Then beet, that is jaggery. Now, jaggery itself is not a natural source of iron, but the way the jaggery is made, that is in iron skillets, that improves the iron levels in them. So it's always good to add a bit of jaggery in the diet every day. But now, what kind of jaggery? The darkest variety or the most brown variety is what you need to choose. If it's very light, it is very, quite light cream in color. That kind of jaggery, it is a kind of processed jaggery. While it is, if it is the darker brown, it means that it has been done in a very organic way, and it will be extremely rich in iron. And a piece of iron, if you do have a bit of these sugar cravings, a piece of this jaggery can always help you to improve your iron levels, as well as, beat your sugar cravings if you have any. So you can include these foods. Not only that, I've not focused on vitamin B12 sources. So though you can see that these are the foods that are rich in vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 deficiency is quite common in older people, those who are above 50, those who have severe acidity problems, their stomach gets affected. The main reason is vitamin B12 is produced because of a factor called as intrinsic factor that is present in our stomach, and that can affect, if you have severe acidity, it can kill this intrinsic factor, or the amount of work this factor does can be reduced. So no matter how much of vitamin B12 you take, you're unable to meet up your requirements. So if you had these sources in your diet, okay, they can definitely help you to improve your immunity. So vitamin B12 is very common in older age people. That's because when they get older, the amount of acid content that is produced in the stomach can either decrease or it can increase, and that can affect vitamin B12 absorption. So that is why including these foods can help you to promote or improve your vitamin B12 absorption. So you can see this curd. So milk products are extremely good sources. So for vegetarians, milk products are the only sources for vitamin B12, whereas for those who are non-vegetarians can include eggs, meat, fish, and also mushrooms if they're open to having it. So these things can help you to beat vitamin B12 deficiency. So as I'll just go back to the previous slide. So iron, folic acid, as well as vitamin B12, all three together can help you to cure anemia and keep your immunity at a very good level. Next is probiotics. Now, this is something which we have very commonly read right now. Probiotics are good. So do you need to take a supplement? That's what most of my clients ask me, but then no. Probiotics can be easily made at home. So curd is a very good source of probiotics. See, when you've been taking a lot of medications, if you've been taking a lot of antibiotics, the good bacteria in your stomach gets destroyed. So when you take these foods, that is your antibiotic, that is your probiotics, the probiotics will help in adding back the good bacteria in your stomach. So from this will help you to prevent a lot of diseases and improve your immunity. So you can see here, you have that is curd, you have buttermilk, and of course that's just curd rice, just for your just an idea how to add more things. Or you can always include it in any kind of disease, your kind of food such as ragi, also to improve your immunity and the amount of calcium you take. So good bacteria, that's especially lactobacillus strains, are extremely good in improving the gut bacteria or the stomach bacteria, which is a very good, it's a very good line of defense for fighting pathogens or disease-causing organisms. Then these are a few superfoods that I've included. So you have garlic, which I've mentioned, ginger. So all this can be included in your red chutney. Then you have green tea, you have beetroot, which is, again, these are all very rich in antioxidants. So then you have Brahmi, which is there, which is another immune booster. Although Brahmi or Brahmi leaves are promoted only for mental strength, but they're also quite good for your immunity too, and they're very rich in antioxidants. So turmeric, which has always been around in every Indian kitchen, turmeric is always there. So that can be one way where you can improve immunity. So adding a teaspoon of it or half teaspoon to hot milk, or basically cooking with it, is more than enough to improve your immunity. So vitamin D now, working from home, most of them have been at home. They have not got enough of sunlight. So sunlight is extremely important. Now, how would we deal with this? Now, if you're unable to go out and, that is, you don't have an independent house. So being closer to the balcony, standing in the morning, at least for half an hour, and getting some sun exposure is extremely important for boosting your vitamin D. Now it's raining, so it just does not mean that there is no sunlight, there is no vitamin D production, there is. So it's always good to get at least that early morning sunlight. So taking short walks in the sunlight is good. If not, you'll have to get it supplemented. So supplements are also available. You get fish oil capsules, which you can add, or you can take any kind of vitamin D supplement medications. This is the only one medication which I generally recommend my clients to take, because this will help you in improving your immunity. And a lot of studies right now have come out that vitamin D deficiency and corona have a connection. But of course, nothing is proved. I'm not promoting that. But yes, vitamin D in general can improve your immunity. Or otherwise, you can take fortified foods. Now, luckily, the milk that's available in Mangalore right now, the Nandini milk, has been fortified with vitamin D. And it was only fortified with vitamin A. Now we have D too. So that's good. So that will definitely help in improving our immunity. So exercise, of course, is extremely important. Please do not lock yourself among the four walls. There are different ways of thinking about exercise. So you can do exercises right at home. So yoga is a very good option. Taking short walks, of course, not in crowded places, but you can take walks so that you can go for walks so that it improves your lung capacity. Also yoga, such as your breathing exercises, such as pranayama and any of these can help to improve your lung capacity. So such kind of exercises, when the lung capacity improves, your oxygen capacity also increases. So exercising during this time is extremely important. You need to put more effort. At least 30 minutes to 45 minutes per day, some kind of exercises done will help you to keep and boost your immunity better. So stress is a part of every person's life. People assume that only those who are working are stressed. Those who are at home or homemakers are also equally stressed. So de-stressing is also extremely important. So when you de-stress, you are able to amp up your defense system. Or when you're stressed, your defense system starts coming down. So again, taking short naps, sleeping on time, keeping yourself busy, meditation, all this can help you in de-stressing yourself on a regular basis. And please see that you maintain more of a routine so that you have take time for yourself, develop some new hobbies, or read something very positive to get you through this tiring times. So be positive during the pandemic times. That's extremely important. You should understand that you're not stuck at home, you're safe at home. So work out a good plan for yourself. What are you going to eat today? That's very important. The first thing you get up in the morning, we usually think we check our phones and we check our mail and what are we going to do today? But very important thing is you need to not just think what you're going to cook for today, but what you're going to eat for today also. So if you, whatever kind of the options I've shared with you through my talk, you can include all that in the cooking every day. See that you add at least 2 or 3 of those to improve your immunity. Stay away from, endless media news, which is, I think, confusing and scaring many people. Please be connected with your loved ones. That's very important to keep yourself busy, and see that you develop something right now like a hobby so that you are busy and you take care of your mental health also. So it's not just your physical health, your mental health also is extremely important, because if you're stressed, you're unhappy, you're unable to go through these pandemic times, then that can also affect your immunity. So see that you're well connected with people, keep your friends group, or just like you can chat with them or talk to them, and also share the right information. Please do not share any fake kind of information which can affect the thinking of another person. So my takeaway message for today would be, of course, please see that you take care of yourself, eat on time, have good rest, sleep, and work, and keep maintain a right schedule for your work. With this, I come to the end of my talk. So now I think the floor is open for questions, of course.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am, for such a wonderful session and for sharing your knowledge and expertise. Shall we move on to the Q&A session, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
I request the audience to put forth few questions in the chat box. Meanwhile, may I request Ms. Nandini Maninarayana to put forth a few questions.
Sanjana ma'am, I have a couple of questions. My first question is, COVID seems to affect lungs. We are told, any specific diet for keeping lungs healthy?
Only by exercise your lungs can get healthier. No, your food cannot affect your lungs because see, the whole point is when it comes to your lungs, it's your oxygen capacity. So your breathing exercises, your exercises can help in improving the lung capacity. Okay, there's no specific diet to as such improve. Of course, people say that drink a lot of hot water can help, a lot of green tea can help, but there is no proof that the hot water and green tea can help in preventing or reducing the symptoms of corona. But for the lung capacity, it's always good to exercise. So exercise is the best way to go to improve the lung capacity.
My second question is, sleep disorders are increasing during COVID. Any suggestion for dinner?
Sleep disorders and dinner, you mean? Okay. Eating a little earlier before you go to bed is always good. A 2-hour gap before you sleep is always good for better sleep. So that can definitely help to improve the sleep patterns. And of course, reducing screen time and your mobile usage or watching movies, all that can also affect your screen time. That can affect your sleep and so. Yes.
Thank you, Sanjana.
Ma'am, I have few questions here. There is some attendee asking if we can mix salt and curd and what is its impact?
There's absolutely no need to add salt in curd. I think we have developed addition of salt and sugar for our own taste. Curd itself contains a lot of salt or sodium naturally. So we do not need to add any kind of salt or it's just for taste basically. It has no impact also, but you're just eating excess of salt during this time, which I think is not needed.
Ma'am, one more interesting question. Why do people get addicted to sugar?
Sugar addiction is very commonly due to dehydration. Those who are dehydrated have cravings for either sugar or they have cravings for salt. So these two things can make a person more addicted to sugar. Or any kind of hormonal imbalances also can cause sugar addiction. So these are some of the main causes. Or some of them get bored. They would want to, keep munching on something while they're bored. So even boredom can, lead to sugar addiction. There's one question here which I see. That is on. That's better practice. Can you please suggest a better practice for elder people to improve immunity? All the slides which I've shared, all these foods can be included, and of course, for most of the elder people suffer with diabetes and many other diseases that can compromise their immunity. So it's very important for them to maintain their blood sugars during this time, to take their medications, to check the blood sugars. Now, many people are unable to go and check their blood sugars in the lab. So it's always best to invest into a glucometer and continually check the blood sugars. And of course, exercising and any kind of simple pranayama every day will help in improving the immunity. And of course, everything is in the mind. If you think this is going to affect you and you're scared, of course, it's going to affect you. So it's always keep a more positive outlook and see that you take care of yourself during this time.
If we are suffering from gastric problem, what kind of vitamin C should be taken? Any advice?
Vitamin C and acidity have no direct link, but of course, that is the acidic fruits, some of them can affect it. See, there's actually no perfect diet for acidity. It's very easy to say that you take orange, that will affect your acidity, but there are many people who do not take citrus fruits or are able to take citrus fruits. So there's no perfect diet for acidity. The best way is to drink a lot of water. That is very important. And secondly, a lot of probiotics in the diet that can only help you to come out of your acidic issues. Eating certain foods or avoiding certain foods have no base right now. Of course, now if you look at spices, also spices are actually good for immunity, but for your acidity issues, for some it can get aggravated. So deviating from your diet, that is the normal diet which you're having at home, can sometimes aggravate the gastric issues. So drinking a lot of water and probiotics can take care. There's a question here on chicken. Okay, there is no need to worry about any kind of non-vegetarian foods. Now, all the non-vegetarian foods are anyways washed well. We are using the main 3 antioxidants, that is the defense system. We are adding ginger, garlic, and the turmeric to our non-vegetarian foods, which will help in reducing the amount of infections in it. There is no connection between non-vegetarian food and the COVID-19. It is just a myth. So please see that we anyways wash our non-vegetarian foods very well. It's absolutely safe to eat anything, but of course don't eat anything in excess the minute I say it's safe. So that's important.
Yes.
And here one more question is there. Is sugarcane sugar, is organic cane sugar is good?
Any kind of sugar is okay. See, sugar, if you're looking at from the calorie point of view, whether you're using cane sugar or you're using organic sugar, or I mean, of course, sugar is made from sugarcane itself. So cane sugar and sugarcane are synonymous. But if you're looking at brown sugar, I think there are a lot of colors. You get brown sugar, you get, and then multi-grain, you get these multivitamin now added sugars. All of them are ultimately the same. Sugar is sugar. Whether you take jaggery, whether you take honey, or whether you take plain sugar, they all have the same calories. Only thing is the micronutrients may be different. So whether you take organic or whether you take processed, it is the same in the body. Sugar is sugar. So makes no difference. So eat sugar in limited quantities.
One more question. Is it true that the people having diabetics are having low immunity? If yes, how can we try to improve it?
Yes, diabetes is one of the main culprits in this issue right now, because diabetes itself, diabetes, it's a double-edged sword. So if you get an infection, your sugar levels go high, and if your sugar levels go high, your infection does not come down. So both of these things are very difficult to handle. So the only way you can do is eat right, okay, follow a proper diabetic diet, eat reduce sugar, eat a lot of fiber, protein, and enough of fats in the diet, and healthy carbohydrates. And of course, the main key here is to maintain the blood sugars. You have to put in a lot of effort during this time to maintain the blood sugars. It should be below 200. If the sugar levels go anywhere above 200, you will be unable to prevent any kind of infections coming to you. So please, if there are any diabetics in the session right now, please see that, and please spread the word to keep the diabetes well under control.
And one more question. Is it citrus food increases cold?
No, it does not at all. And even when it comes to curd, a lot of people ask questions that do we need to have curd and buttermilk? Should we avoid curd and buttermilk? There's absolutely no base for it. Unless if you're scared about it, just see that you keep it out from the refrigerator. Most of these foods, curd and buttermilk right now are refrigerated. So if you're worried about that, you just can keep it out for some time, or make fresh curd and see that you consume it immediately during your meals, so that you do not have to get the side effects of refrigerated food. But otherwise, eating curd and drinking buttermilk during this time is very good to add probiotics in your diet, and that can help.
Thank you.
There is a question here, is lemon and mint a detox drink? No, it is not a detox drink. It is marketed as a detox drink. But when you add lemon and mint, the antioxidant levels, the vitamin C levels increase. So combination of 2-3 foods will give you a superfood. So that is why I've asked people. So rather than spending a lot of money on expensive fruits right now, because many people are having a little of financial difficulty, so we need to find cures which are very simple. So lemon and mint also a little in the diet is good to improve your immunity. Now, I do not promote detox drinks as such. This is not the time to detox yourself. This is the time to improve your health. So improving your health will be with such superfoods.
Thank you, ma'am. Can we take few more questions, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
What's the ideal quantity of water to be consumed in empty stomach in the morning?
There's no limit for it. You can have up to 3 glasses, 4 glasses, even a liter. It's all up to your choice. You know, there's no anywhere hard, that rule that you have to drink 3 glasses of water or you have to drink hot water. See, nutrition is how good do you feel about yourself when you drink enough of water, or you like hot water, you like cold water, whatever makes you happier. That is important. So even the how much of water you can take is that's more important. So in the morning, I think about 2 to 3 glasses is good enough to feel better, to clean out your system. That's more than enough. There's no base for hot water and cold water. It's another myth that has been going around.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. May I now request Dakshini ma'am to speak a few words?
Thank you, madam, for your eye-opening speech on nutrients in food and diet. We will definitely follow your advice, madam. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Are we at the end of the session?
Yes, ma'am. We have actually quite a lot of questions here, but I think there is a shortage of time, and we'll be sharing the email ID and contact detail of the resource person. Please feel free to contact. May I now request Ms. Nandini ma'am to kindly propose the vote of thanks?
Well, that's a brilliant presentation by Sanjana ma'am. Your talk took us through the basic as well as the caution we should practice as far as nutrition during this COVID times. On behalf of SJEC management and the Department of ECE, I take this opportunity to thank you for your wonderful presentation, which we will try to adopt as much. Thank you, Sanjana ma'am. Also, I extend my sincere thanks to our beloved HOD, Dr. Dakshini, for all the assistance in organizing this webinar. Thank you, ma'am. During the preparation for this webinar, I was assisted in all the works by my colleagues, Dr. Jagdish Bhatt, Ms. Rashmi Halemane, Mr. Ragesh Raju, and Ms. Jacinta. Thank you all. I'm happy to share that this webinar received huge response from the audience across. I thank you all for this huge response. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. With this, we have almost come to the end of the session. The recording of the session will be made available soon in the SJEC YouTube channel. The PPT will be shared to the participants shortly. Before we end, I'll just put the feedback link again in the chat box. Please use the link. An e-certificate will be generated soon. If you have any problem, feel free to contact us. So my email IDs will be put in the chat box. So please feel free to enter the feedback form. So thank you one and all for your active participation. I thank Ms. Sanjana M. Shenoy again for coming over and sharing your insights, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Have a great day. So we come to the end of the session. Thank you all.
Shall we leave the event?
We'll wait a few minutes till a few people are entering the feedback. Just 2-3 minutes, ma'am. With this, we close the session.